Hello, this is John. I'm with Dry Tavern Road, and I wanted to submit an entry into Beatle Dustino's 1 in 7 contest challenge today. I am a newcomer to the channel. I came by way of Mike Vinyl Spiral and really like the enthusiasm of the channel, and I like the questions. So, show us an album that got you into music. I have actually an original record case that I got way back in the 60s when I was a kid. And within it, I have a single that pretty much changed my life. And it is the Beatles, Strawberry Fields Forever, and Penny Lane. I think it's probably the best single I ever owned, and I owned a lot of singles. But this came when I was 8 years old, and had been listening to a lot of pop radio, pop music on the radio, I should say. And this one just changed everything in terms of making me realize what music could be. And I listened to it over and over and over again. This is not the original copy. I wore that one out. But then a few months later, my next door neighbor had a garage sale, and I picked up my first album, which is Yesterday and Today in all its rugged glory. Many miles on the turntable and travel. It's been taped together in pieces, been through probably a couple garage sales. And I know that obviously many years later, I learned that these were not the original albums. They were kind of cut, and so they could release more albums in America in that fabulous, greedy record company way. But I still love listening to Yesterday and Today. Not that particular copy, but another one I have. Show us an album that got you into your favorite band. And in 2004, my wife bought me Radiohead, Hail to the Thief. I had no familiarity whatsoever with Radiohead at that point. I'd kind of drifted away from music. I was in the car a lot, kind of just listening to CDs of music I already knew and was familiar with, wasn't branching into new music. But upon repeated listenings of, at that point, again, and not a CD, it was a CD, not the album, I should say, I could not believe the layers, the textures, the lyrics, just the overall sound of it. The percussion of it, 2 + 2 = 5. It really got me heavily involved, and at that point able to go back and pick up obviously their earlier work as well. And actually had the good fortune to see them perform 2 times, and I share my appreciation of Radiohead with my son, so both he and I have gone to Radiohead out in Mansfield, Ohio, outside of Cleveland in 2008, and then 10 years later here in Philadelphia, which is the area I live in. So Radiohead. Show an album that puts you back into collecting. So I have to go with another favorite of Beatle Dustino. I know the channel name is not Beach Boy Dustino, but I appreciate his appreciation of Pet Sounds. So I purchased this used, and at that point I had a USB turntable that could be used to convert cassettes to MP3 files. Also records, but I didn't have any records, so I bought this one. And it dawned on me that I hadn't truly listened to stereo at my house. We had sound bars at that point for TV. You could put music through them, but you didn't really have a stereo effect. So I did a kind of a very hack job of connecting an old Pioneer receiver that was on the shelf to some desktop speakers. And here was the result. So as you can tell, I had a long way to go in upgrading the equipment and expanding on my record collection from that point, which is 3 years ago. Next question, show a box set that blew you away. And it would be Bob Dylan Biograph. Came out in 1985. It's really an amazing greatest hits, as well as unreleased material, some live performances. And though it's not considered part of the bootleg series, it predates volume 1 to 3 bootleg by about 5 years. I think it just showed the market demand from us Dylan fans of his material. Just an amazing box set, and one you can get quite reasonably if you search out for it. Show an album by your favorite artist that is really underrated, underappreciated, and disrespected. This group, Perubu, comes from Cleveland. They were around in the late 70s. When I first heard of them, they broke up in the early 80s. They came back in a different lineup in the late 80s, early 90s. And actually, I'd seen them on a show called Sessions at 52nd Street that would appear on American television late on Sunday nights. And I saw them performing a song called Oh, Catherine. And I bought that album, Worlds in Collision, and I think it came out in 90. And then this album followed in 98. And it is a fantastic album, very textured, goes from blues to electronics, a lot of spoken voice. And I love this album. Also, this one comes in a very, very bright blue, so you don't lose it in your collection. But definitely check out Pere Ubu. Show an album by an artist you've never heard of and thought you'd never listen to. I share my vinyl passion with my son. He lives up in New York, and there's a record store there called Love Not Money. And when I asked him about that record store that he goes to, he said it's an album by Everything But the Girl. And then about an hour later, we bump into a promo copy of the very album we'd spoken to, and he got it for me as a gift. I was, again, not familiar. This album came out in 1987, and it's a duo from England. And I really enjoy this album, and I'm going to look toward their catalog in the future, getting more Everything But the Girl albums. And the number 7 question is, show a live album of an artist you've seen more than once, the most in concert. I grew up in Los Angeles, and after many huge stadium concerts, I retreated back to the clubs, and in the late 70s, X was the band of the moment in Los Angeles, along with the Blasters, Los Lobos, and many, many others. But I would say I saw them back then probably 15 to 20 times in various clubs. And then lately, I've seen them again with my son. He's a recurring topic here. He's into X. We've seen him about 5 times as they've toured here. The last time I saw them, they were opening for the Psychedelic Furs. But Exene Cervenka, John Doe, DJ Bonebreak, and the ever-smiling Billy Zoom are a fantastic band live, and this album really captures them. They also created an alt-country band, again, very early in the mid-'80s called the Knitters, and they have some Knitters songs on this. I saw that band when they played the Mosque, and believe it or not, the opening acts for the Knitters were Dwight Yoakam and Red Hot Chili Peppers. Okay, finally, shout out another YouTuber. I would like to shout out Craig at Vinyl TV. I have thoroughly enjoyed his videos, not just for talking about music, but very specifically about how to record albums onto the Audacity software program, how to set up your cartridge on a record player. He runs a radio show, and his channel is fantastic. He's been gone for a couple of years, but he's back recently, so I would really enjoy more content from Craig. Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching, and talk to you soon.